Cormac McCarthy, after 13 years, is releasing a new novel, The Passenger, tomorrow. And right now, I'm going to read you guys the prologue to the novel because it is so beautiful. And for the rest of today, I'm going to be dropping chapter by chapter breakdowns. And by the end of the day, have a multi-hour breakdown and follow along for you guys who will be reading one of the greatest novelists of all time tomorrow. And if you guys are interested in my Cormac McCarthy newsletter, go sign up down below. I consider myself a Cormac McCarthy scholar. I have written at least 30 academic essays on him. I've made McCarthy one of the focal points of my academic research. And I will be sharing with you guys a lot of that stuff in the newsletter. And then very soon, I will be releasing a Cormac McCarthy course where we will be reading in depth with a ton of secondary sources, all of McCarthy's novels in order once Stella Maris comes out and we've all read and got our fix on The Passenger and Stella Maris. So here's the introduction, everybody. It had snowed lightly in the night, and her frozen hair was gold and crystalline, and her eyes were frozen cold and hard as stones. One of her yellow boots had fallen off and stood in the snow beneath her. The shape of her coat lay dusted in the snow where she dropped it, and she wore only a white dress, and she hung among the bare gray poles of the winter trees with her head bowed and her hands turned slightly outward, like those of certain ecumenical statues whose attitude asked that their history be considered, that the deep foundation of the world be considered, where it has its being in the sorrow of her creatures. The hunter knelt and stogged his rifle upright in the snow beside him, and took off his glove and let them fall and folded his hands one upon the other. He thought that he should pray, but he had no prayer for such a thing. He bowed his head. Tower of ivory, he said, house of gold. He knelt there for a long time. When he opened his eyes, he saw a small shape half buried in the snow, and he leaned and dusted away the snow and picked up a gold chain that held a steel key, a white gold ring. He slipped them into the pocket of his hunting coat. He'd heard the wind in the night, the wind's work, a trash can clattering over the bricks behind his house, the snow blowing out there in the forest in the dark. He looked up into those cold, enameled eyes, glinting blue in the weak winter light. She had tied her dress with a red sash so that she could be found, some bit of color in the scrupulous desolation. On this Christmas day, this cold and barely spoken Christmas day. Boom, we are starting off with some Cormac McCarthy italics at the start of the story. Oops, that's how you know it is going to be good. I'm so excited. I'm about to throw the desk over. So as we see, there is a frozen dead girl. What a start, you know? This is how Twin Peaks starts, how at some level Love Medicine, Louise Erdrich's very famous Native American novel starts. And man, even the random hunter, you know, not having a prayer for this girl. It's like there's so much depth with the characters, even if they're secondary in these novels, especially when we go into italic land. And who knows, you know, because it's written in these italics, this could be a dream. This might be the future. We don't really exactly know what's going on here. I'm assuming that it's real, but I'm very excited to see as we move forward. So if you guys want to follow me along as we read The Passenger together, you guys can see me talk about chapter 1 right over here. And let's keep going. Peace.